a strange development today also in the Illinois State Supreme Court. They ruled that the state Secretary of State does not have to sign the paperwork for Blagojevich's appointment to the U.S. Senate. Roland Burris. There you see Jesse White, who said today, guess what? I'm not going to sign it. The Senate says they're not going to seat him because he doesn't have the paperwork. Wow. Some analytical observations from Fred Barnes, executive editor of the Weekly Standard, Mort Kondracki, executive editor of Roll Call, and syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer, Fox News contributors all. Fred, it's complex. Let's start with the governor and that defiant event today.
I don't think that helped much. As you pointed out, the vote in the House was 114-1. I think he may do a little better in the Senate, but you know, it looks like the guy's going to get impeached. And the only question is when. I think they've scheduled a trial for sometime later in January, but who knows? Democrats might try to move it up, have it earlier, get rid of him sooner. But you know what? That in no way would invalidate his selection of Roland Burris as the senator to replace Barack Obama as Illinois' second senator. I mean, that stands. There is no legal bar to that now. I mean, the Senate doesn't have one. I don't care what Reid and Durbin say. I just think they're going to have to seat him. Look, even if Blagojevich is tossed out, impeached, and convicted, and Patrick Quinn comes in as the new governor, he's lieutenant governor now, that will not change the appointment of Burris.
We should point out, you mentioned the trial. Now that the House has voted for impeachment, it goes on to the state Senate, where there will be a trial, much like we saw
this
here
is
with Bill Clinton.
This is a two-ring circus. You got one ring is here in Washington, and another ring is out in Illinois, and the star of the Illinois ring is a dead man walking. You just got through seeing him. I mean, he's going to be...
Were you impressed at all by his oratory?
No. I mean, it was pathetic, frankly. It was pathetic. I mean, and the citizens of Illinois ought to be ashamed of themselves for electing this guy and re-electing this guy. But nonetheless, he's on his way out. And then, as Fred points out, I mean, you could have a situation where you have two appointed senators. I mean, if Pat Quinn decides to say
the lieutenant governor of
Lieutenant Governor succeeds to the governorship and appoints his favorite, which is Danny Davis, a congressman from Illinois, also African American, by the way, so that won't be an issue. Bobby Rush won't be able to wave the bloody shirt anymore. So you'd have two duly appointed senators. Who's going to decide who the actual senator is? You know, does it go to the U.S. Supreme Court? In which case, Illinois is without a senator for who knows how long.
Well, more, that's happened before. The Catholic Church had two popes, one in Avignon.
One poisoned the other,
After about 100 years, it got settled. Look, this circus is amazing. The Senate Democrats were looking for a way out. And yesterday they established two conditions. If your papers are in order and if you go to the House committee and you show that your appointment wasn't corrupt. So his papers are obviously in order. If the Supreme Court of Illinois is to rule that you don't have to have the signature of Secretary of State, it's not his prerogative. He doesn't have a veto. It's a done deal. Now, on the other issue, Burris gave a statement yesterday, which I would nominate as statement of the week, probably of the year, even though it's January, in which he explained himself. There is certainly no pay-to-play involved because I don't have no money. Now, he could be the only honest man left in Illinois politics. This is about as open a statement of what Chicago honesty is. I don't have the money to bribe, so I have to be an honest man. You've got to hand it to him. So here we have, I can't see how Reid and the others are going to now switch the course again, deny him his seat after the two conditions, papers, and speaking with the Illinois impeachment committee are met. But if they want to hold out until there's a new governor, it will cause real problems and political problems internally among Senate Democrats.
Fred, what's the next step when it comes to the U.S. Senate? I mean, are they going to wait for a lawsuit from Burris?
Well, what they've said, and what Dick Durbin, the #2 in the Senate, and the other senator from Illinois said was they wanted to wait until after the impeachment trial and presumed conviction of Blagojevich. I just think they're putting it off, hoping that something will come along. Look, they have a worry, and the worry is that Burris cannot be reelected in 2004 if he runs, and otherwise, then if he doesn't, it's an open seat, and they're worried about, even though the Republican Party's been behind the 8 ball in Illinois for a while now, that the Republicans could recover. They have a couple of good candidates, particularly Congressman Mark Kirk, so they want somebody in there who can hold the seat for Democrats.
The Senate Democrats are hanging their hat on rule number 2, Senate rule number 2. And I read it today, and it just recommends that the Secretary of State of the Senate of the state sign the thing. It does not require it, and so this is a game.
All right, how long quickly does it take to get a second senator in Illinois?
I think in 10 days the Democrats will cave in the Senate and appoint Burris.
No, I think it's going to take into February. They're going to hustle Blagojevich out of there. Quinn will appoint Burris, and it'll be all over.
I'm with Charles. 10 days.
All right.